All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're opening up the fundamental instruction manual for your body, organic chemistry. Now, I know it might sound a little intimidating, but it's really the science that explains exactly how you build muscle, burn fuel, and hit your peak performance. Every single sprint you run, every weight you lift, it's all powered by this incredible symphony of chemical reactions. Your body is basically a high-performance machine, and we're about to pop the hood and see exactly how it works. To really get a grip on how this all works, let's start with a really powerful analogy. Just picture your entire body, I mean everything from your muscles to your brain, as one massive, super intricate Lego creation. And this organic chemistry manual, well, it explains how all those tiny little Lego pieces build everything that actually matters for your performance, from your muscle fibers to the very molecules you burn for fuel. See, without that manual, you'd just have a pile of bricks. So what makes this whole system even possible? Well, it all comes down to one master builder element, the true MVP of biochemistry. And that MVP is carbon. Its superpower is its incredible ability to form four really strong, stable bonds. Kind of like a small table with four sturdy legs, right? It can connect in all directions. This is what lets it build those long chains for storing energy in fats, or complex rings for quick-release fuel like glucose. It really is the ultimate biological building block. Okay, so now let's zoom in and meet the actual pieces from our Lego set. We're going from that big picture view right down to the fundamental components that make you, well, you. So let's take a look at what we're made of. While oxygen is the most abundant element by mass, mostly from all the water in our bodies, look what comes next. Carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen make up pretty much all of the rest. These are the key players in our story today. These four elements are the absolute superstars. And for a super simple way to remember them, just think CHON: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. They are the core components of basically every molecule that builds and powers your body. Everything, and I mean everything, starts here with the atom. This is our fundamental Lego brick, the smallest possible unit of an element like carbon or oxygen. But, a pile of Lego bricks isn't very useful by itself. They need to connect. And in chemistry, that connection is the covalent bond. It's like this powerful glue that holds atoms together by sharing their electrons, which creates really stable structures. And when those atoms are all glued together with bonds, they form molecules. These are our finished Lego models. Things like a single glucose molecule for energy, or an amino acid to build protein. These are the parts that are actually doing all the work in your body. And here they are. These are some of those finished models. You can see the structures of amino acids, fats, and sugars. When you're talking about nutrition and training, these are the actual molecules you're building and burning. Okay, so we've met the pieces. But how do they get their jobs? We're about to cover the single most important rule in all of biochemistry. Seriously, if you understand this one concept, everything else just starts to click into place. The rule is simple. Structure determines function. The specific three-dimensional shape of a molecule is what dictates its job. Is it going to be a key that unlocks energy? A beam for building muscle? The shape is everything. So, one of the key properties that affects both the shape and the function is called polarity. You can think of it like this. Because of how the atoms are arranged, the molecule isn't electrically balanced. It develops these slightly charged ends, which basically turns it into a tiny little magnet. And water is the perfect example of polarity in action. Its bent shape makes one side slightly positive and the other slightly negative. And those little magnetic sides are fantastic at pulling apart salts and dissolving nutrients, which is why water is the universal solvent. It's essential for transporting fuel all through your system.
This right here, this shows that structure-function role happening in real time. We see a long, kind of useless chain of amino acids folding itself into a complex, very specific 3D shape. And that final folded structure is what turns it into a working machine, like this enzyme that's all ready to do its job.
All right, time for a quick check-in to lock this in. Pause for a second if you need to and just say the answer out loud. What does polarity mean? Got it? It means the molecule has charged sides, just like a tiny magnet. And this one simple property is responsible for so many critical processes in your body, from hydration all the way to nutrient absorption. We have covered the core concepts, so let's do a quick rapid-fire review to tie everything together nice and neat. Just remember these 5 points. Atoms are the Lego pieces. Bonds are the glue. Carbon is that versatile four-legged backbone of life. Polarity makes molecules act like tiny magnets. And, most importantly, a molecule's structure decides its function. If you've got that, you've totally grasped the fundamentals. And this is why it all matters. This isn't just some abstract theory, you know? It's the literal blueprint for how your body responds to everything: the food you eat, the exercise you do, and the recovery you need. Understanding that blueprint helps you make way smarter choices. And that brings us to our final thought. Now that you understand the basic rules of the instruction manual, how does this change the way you think about your nutrition? Because when you look at your next meal, you're not just seeing food anymore. You're seeing the Lego pieces your body will use to build your next personal best.